Okay, so you should have watched the Brain Pop video and answered the questions. I will help you go over them a little bit, and so I know that you already did them, but let me share my screen actually to help this work a little bit better. Thanks for bearing with me. All right. So these are the Brain Pop video questions that I know you've already hit next or on a different page, but I want to make sure you're not moving on like through this lesson without understanding. So every little thing is made up of cells. Your one-word answer just should have been cells. That's it. Every single living thing, whether it's a bacteria, it's one cell, plants, animals, humans were considered animals, but all of us, we are made up of cells. So just like the body has organs for all of its functions, I'm on this next question, the cell has organelles. So organelles, you can think of them as like little organs. They're the little parts of a cell that help it function. So just like we have a stomach and a heart and we have skin and a brain, your cell has a nucleus, which is like a brain. And it has a cell membrane that's like our skin, and so on. So which of the following is an organelle? You should have said the mitochondria. You'll be learning about that one on Thursday. The heart and the lungs are organs. They are made of cells. They are not inside of a cell. And your white blood cells are a type of cell, so they're not inside of cells. So if you got these wrong, that is okay, but I want to make sure again that before you get to the next part of your lesson, you understand. And then do all cells look the same? You should have said D, the last one. No, different cells look different because they have different functions. It's not the one above it. No two cells look alike. Every single cell is different like snowflakes. That's not true. You'll have brain cells that are all like the same and so on. It's just that different cells, like a nerve cell is going to look very different from a muscle cell and so on. Now, this is where you should be, which is cells reading. So I'm going to read out loud to you and go through the questions together. So biology for kids, the cell. The cell is the basic unit of life. Some organisms are made up of a single cell, like bacteria, while others are made up of trillions of cells. Human beings are made up of cells too. Different types of cells. There are lots of different types of cells. Each type of cell is different and performs a different function. In the human body, we have nerve cells, which can be as long as from our feet to our spinal cord. Nerve cells help to transport messages around the body. We also have billions of tiny little brain cells, which help us think, and muscle cells, which help us move around. There are many more cells in our body that help us to function and stay alive. Although there are lots of different kinds of cells, they are often divided into two main categories. Prokaryotic. Okay, I know you're sitting somewhere. It might be kind of weird, but I'm going to say it, then you're going to say it out loud. Prokaryotic. Sorry, I dropped a frame, so I had to move. Hold on. Try that again. I'm going to say it. You're going to say it out loud. Prokaryotic. Okay, you better have done it. And eukaryotic. So same thing. I'm going to say it, then you're going to say it. Eukaryotic. All right, you better have said it. All right, so all living things are made of. Please check the correct answer when you see it. A, prokaryotic. B, eukaryotic. C, nerves. D, cells. Pick your answer. Okay, you should have said D, cells. All living things are made of cells. Not all living things have nerves, right? And we're not made completely of nerves. We have other stuff going on inside, but everything in us is cells. And then prokaryotic and eukaryotic are the different types of cells. Moving on. Prokaryotic cells. The prokaryotic cell is a simple, small cell with no nucleus. Organisms made from prokaryotic cells are very small, such as bacteria. There are three main regions of the prokaryotic cell. You do not need to know these, but I'll read them to you in case you're interested. 1. The outside protection or envelope of the cell. This is made up of the cell wall, membrane, and capsule. 2. The flagella, which are whip-like appendages that help the cell to move. So that's like the little tail that you see where my cursor is on the prokaryotic cell. Note, not all prokaryotic cells have flagella. Back to reading. Number 3. The inside of the cell, called the cytoplasmic region. This region includes the nucleus, cytoplasm, and ribosomes. So that's all there really is to a prokaryotic cell. We're not going to be focusing on prokaryotic cells for the rest of this mini unit because those are just things like bacteria, and we're going to be focusing on eukaryotic cells, which are plants and animals and all the parts in those. Prokaryotic cells are smaller and simpler, and they don't have as many organelles or parts. That's it. We just read it all. Whereas for eukaryotic cells, we're going to be spending each day learning about a different part. So I'm going to be back to reading where in bold it says eukaryotic cells. These cells are typically a lot bigger and more complex than prokaryotic cells. They have a defined cell nucleus, which houses the cell's DNA. These are the types of cells we find in plants and animals. All right, so we have a few quick check questions here. Fill them in as we go. Which type of cell is more complex, prokaryotic or eukaryotic? Pick your answer. You should have said eukaryotic. Eukaryotic cells, it said in the text. I said it, they're more complex. They have a lot more parts. Next one. Which type of cell is bigger, prokaryotic or eukaryotic? Your stuff, you can scroll back up to the text as it says it. Back down. All right, you should have said eukaryotic. They're more complex and they're bigger. So which type of cells are humans made of? Take your answer. You should have said eukaryotic. It said right here in the text that these are the types of cells we find in plants and animals. We are made of eukaryotic cells, which is what we'll be focusing on this week. Lastly, which type of organism is usually made from prokaryotic cells? A, plants, B, animals, C, humans, D, bacteria. Pick your answer. All right, you should have said D, bacteria. We are moving on. Parts of the cell. Okay, we're going to be going into these parts more in depth throughout the week, but let's go through them quickly right now. There are a lot of parts and functions to some cells. Here are some of the main components many cells have. Membrane. This is the outer boundary of the cell. Sort of like the skin, it allows some substances in and keeps others out. Mitochondria. This is where the cell gets its energy. In the human body, food we have digested reacts with oxygen in the mitochondria to make energy for the cell. Ribosomes. Ribosomes are like tiny factories that make different things the cell needs to function, like proteins. Nucleus. The nucleus is the brains of the cell. It uses chromosomes, which is DNA, to instruct the rest of the cell what to do next. Cytoplasm. This is the stuff that fills up the rest of the cell. The other components of the cell float around in the cytoplasm. It's mostly water. Lysosomes. These guys clean up the place, getting rid of waste and other unwanted substances that may get into the cell. The machines inside the cell, like the nucleus, ribosomes, and lysosomes, are called organelles. All right, the different parts of the cell are called A, organs, B, membranes, C, organelles, D, systems. Pick your answer. Hint, it's right above in the last line of the text. All right, you should have said C, organelles. The parts of cells are called organelles. Next, if I crack open a cell, which of the following will I find? Check all that you will find. So I'm going to read them, and if you think it's inside a cell, check it. Nucleus, ribosomes, lysosomes, lungs, heart, mitochondria, brain. Whew, okay. So that one was a little tricky. The ones you should have checked were nucleus, ribosomes, lysosomes, and mitochondria. So you should have checked those four. Not lungs, not heart, not brain. Those are organs. Those are made up of cells. They're not inside of cells. All right, you are done now and moving on to your exit ticket. So it's just 3 questions there, and you should be all set to get 100% on those. I am really excited to see your work. I'm really excited to see the work of all your friends, to just like keep this momentum going with science, having the most work turned in. Enjoy the rest of your day. Come to office hours or text me if you need help. Miss you all.